In today's video, you guys are choosing the books that I read this week. I recently did a poll on Instagram giving you guys a bunch of different book options and allowing you guys to choose the books that I read, and this video is the result of those polls. If you're not following me on Instagram, make sure that you go follow me. I always have it linked in the description box below. I plan to do more videos like this one in the future, so if you want to participate, make sure to follow me on Instagram so you can. I'm super excited to see which books you guys chose for me, so let's just jump right into today's video. The first two book options that I have with me are My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey, The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. And I asked you guys over on Instagram which book you guys think I should read first. 47% of you guys said The Dead Romantics and 53% of you guys said My Killer Vacation. So this is the book that I'm going to start reading today. I'm actually excited that you guys chose this book because it's pretty short, so I feel like I'll be able to read it in one sitting if it's entertaining enough. In case you don't know anything about this book, I believe that it is dual POV, so you get the POV of both the male and female main character. The female character is on vacation with her brother when she discovers a dead body. The main male character is a bounty hunter who is hired to find out what happened to this victim and to find out who the killer is. The female main character, which I think her name is... Actually, I don't even know her name yet. It doesn't say it on the back. But the female main character is basically trying to help with the investigation, and she's trying to help the bounty hunter figure things out. The bounty hunter is not having any of it. He doesn't trust her. He doesn't want to have to deal with her. So I'm going to start this now and see what this book is about. I'm super excited. I've been wanting to read this one for a while. So I'm actually really happy that you guys chose this book for me. And yeah, let's just get to reading. Right off the bat, we meet Taylor, who is the female main character, and her brother, Jude. They just arrived at their Airbnb in Cape Cod, where they're going to be vacationing for 6 days, and they quickly stumbled upon the body of a dead man. And even though Taylor is 26 years old and her younger brother, Jude, is 23, she acts like he's a child that needs to be, I don't know, handled with white gloves. And he keeps having to remind her, like, no, this is not just a vacation for me. It's our vacation, like we both need to relax. I wonder if that will be explained later on in the book. Taylor just said that her super strength is overthinking everything, and that's literally me. I overthink everything. I relate to Taylor so much in that aspect because I literally overthink absolutely everything in my life. It's a really bad habit that I have. I hate overthinking things, so I just thought that was pretty funny. This book is very much grumpy sunshine, which I don't mind at all because I love that trope. I just met the male main character, Miles, and he is super grumpy, hates everyone, doesn't want to interact with any human being. And then we have Taylor, who's the complete opposite, super bubbly. She's a second grade teacher, I believe, and she's all sunshine, whereas he's completely grumpy. And again, I don't mind because I love that trope, but it's reminded me a lot of It Happened One Summer, because I think that was also grumpy sunshine if I remember correctly. Well, it wasn't, Brendan wasn't that much of a grump though, so maybe it's not that similar. I don't know, it's been a few months since I read It Happened One Summer. It's pretty clear that something happened to Miles that caused him to be super standoffish and detached from every human being on the planet, including his own family. There hasn't really been a lot of details why he's Mr. Grumpy, but I feel like it has to be something tragic because he's really detached and he literally does not want to be bothered by anyone. So I wonder what his story is and if we'll find out soon. I'm in the kitchen now because I'm about to make some mac and cheese. I'm starving right now. I'm halfway done with the book. It's been such a quick read. I honestly have been flying through this book, which is a great thing. I love when books are super quick to read. With that being said, I feel like the majority of this book is just pent up sexual frustration between the two main characters. They're so attracted to one another and they want to be intimate with one another, but things keep happening that interrupts their moments together, which is kind of funny to read. But I expected the murder mystery plot to be more front and center, not their sexual frustration with one another. You know what I mean? Like I want more murder mystery. Also, one thing to note is that someone keeps trying to hurt Taylor. So Miles has become like her personal bodyguard, and to a certain extent. I do have a couple of theories on who I think the killer is and who I think is trying to hurt Taylor. So I'm curious to see if those theories are going to be correct. All right, we're back in my little corner of my office. I feel like this is where I do all of my book reviews, but I just finished My Killer Vacation and I have some thoughts on it. Like I mentioned earlier, this book is very much grumpy sunshine. So if you enjoy that trope, I feel like you'll really enjoy the two main characters. Also, it is a very quick, easy read. Like I literally flew through this book. There's only 290 pages, so it doesn't even reach 300 pages. You'll be able to finish this in one sitting. Again, super quick. It's also kind of insta-lovey, which I know that a lot of people are not a fan of. I actually don't mind insta-love, so I didn't mind that aspect of this book at all. And it's also very spicy. I feel like the majority, if not all, of Tessa Bailey books are super spicy. So if that is not your thing, then definitely don't pick this book up, because there's definitely a lot of spicy scenes in this one. I was also expecting this book to be more focused on the murder mystery aspect. Like obviously I know it was a romance book, so there was going to be a romance element, but I kind of wish that the murder mystery was a little bit more front and center in the book. I wasn't really that invested in Taylor's and Miles' relationship, if I'm being honest. Like I liked their characters, but I wasn't really rooting for them. Maybe because it was insta love, so there wasn't really that much on the line. Again, I just kind of wish that the murder mystery was explored a little bit more, especially since this is such a short book. I feel like Tessa Bailey could definitely explore that avenue a little bit more and had a lot of fun with it. What else? So overall, I give this book a 3 out of 5 stars. I definitely enjoyed it. I definitely would recommend it. I think it's an enjoyable read. Do I think it's anything magnificent? Absolutely not. It's probably one of those books that I'll end up forgetting about in a couple of weeks. It's the next day, so it's time to pick today's read. On Instagram, I gave you 2 options to pick from. The first option was The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This one is a thriller. Actually, both of these books are thrillers. The second thriller is Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris. I was low-key hoping that you guys would choose this one because I've been meaning to start it for the longest time, but 71% of you guys picked The Guest List, so that's what I'm going to be reading today. This one is also pretty short. This one's only 313 pages, so it's a little bit longer than My Killer Vacation, but I still feel like it's going to be a pretty quick read, or at least I hope so. Sometimes thrillers can be hit or miss. Sometimes they're really slow, other times they're super fast paced. If you don't know what The Guest List is about, it's basically a murder mystery where you don't know who the killer is and you're trying to figure that out as you read the book. The suspects are the actual wedding party, so the bride, the plus one, the best man, the wedding planner, and the bridesmaid. They all are harboring a secret. So I'm assuming that throughout the book you're going to find out who the killer is, or try to find out who the killer is through little hints. It does sound super interesting, and I love murder mysteries, so I feel like I'm going to really enjoy this. At least I hope so. So we shall see. Right, mama? Alright, you guys, I'm about 60 pages into the book. The majority of the plot so far has taken place the day before the actual wedding, so I've been introduced to all of the main characters and their different POVs. I actually really like that this book is being told by different characters' POV. I feel like anytime you get multiple character POVs, the book just flies by. But since it's mainly been like character introductions, the plot itself has been kind of slow. Like nothing much has been happening aside from, again, character introduction. I'm hoping it picks up pretty soon. Look at these two. What are you guys doing? Oh my gosh. The book just switched over to the present, so we're now on the actual wedding night, and a body has been discovered. We don't know who it is yet. We don't know who the killer is, but a body has been discovered. Things are moving along now. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I'm getting kind of sleepy reading this book. Not a lot has been happening, and I don't really like any of the main characters. I feel like they're all shitty ass people. I'm not a fan of any of the characters just yet. I don't know if they're going to redeem themselves later on, but right now I'm just not feeling them, and I'm not feeling this book. Like, I'm literally falling asleep reading this. I keep waiting for something to happen. Let's continue reading, I guess. Every chapter that takes place before the wedding night is being told from a different character's POV, but the chapters that are set in the present are being narrated by someone that I don't know. It's not from a specific character's point of view, so I think that's actually really interesting because it keeps you kind of guessing about who the killer might be, and we still don't know who the victim is yet. Finally learning everyone's secrets one by one, but the book is still hella slow. Like, what is going on? Nothing at all. I might take a little break because I'm just tired and nothing's happening, so I'll get back to reading in a few. A huge twist happened. You got to learn something about the groom. Well, a couple things about the groom, but even though it was a big reveal, I don't think it was that big of a reveal because it was heavily like implied throughout the book, so the twist was actually not all that surprising. So that was kind of disappointing. Let's just say that the groom is not the perfect man he portrays himself to be, which is so obvious because hello, no one's perfect. If someone's portraying themselves as perfect, they're lying, point blank period. So I kind of wish that it wasn't so obvious that he has been lying this entire time, you know? I'm eating sour punches, don't judge. These are so good. For some reason, I've been craving like sour candies or sour foods during my first trimester. Actually, not even during my first trimester. Like, I'm nearing my second trimester, and just this week alone, I've been craving like sour things, sour foods, and I've been eating like sour punches, sour now and laters, like anything sour that I can get my hands on. It also weirdly helps with the nausea, which I don't know why, but it does. At least it's been helping for now, but that's besides the point. The point of this video are the books that I'm reading. The guest list. You guys, this book was really hard to get through. It was a struggle. Literally nothing happened for the first 200 pages of the book. I feel like if you really enjoy character-driven books, then you might actually enjoy this a lot because it focuses a lot on each individual character and on getting to know them and their past and on figuring out why they are the way that they are. Like, I don't mind those types of books to a certain extent, but at some point I want something to happen with the plot. I just don't want to read to get to know characters, especially if it's not part of a larger series, you know what I mean? And I was expecting this to be a little bit more fast-paced than it actually was. The last few pages of the books are where the main twists are revealed, and they're highly predictable. Like, I was able to predict all of the twists, and they were kind of a letdown. Along with the ending, I felt like the ending was kind of abrupt. I kind of wanted a little bit more closure for all of the characters involved in the book, and that didn't really happen, which I guess is realistic in a way because in life you're not always going to get closure, you're not always going to get a perfectly wrapped happy ending. Overall, I think I give this book a 3 out of 5 stars. It definitely isn't my favorite thriller. I would still recommend it. I think it's a pretty good thriller to read in the fall and in the winter, but if you're not really interested in character-driven books or slow burners, then this book may not be for you. And I'm definitely interested in checking out Lucy Foley's other books, but now I'm a little hesitant because if they're all as slow as this one, then maybe I won't check out her other books. Let me know in the comments below if you have read any of her other novels. Do you have any recommendations for me of which books I should check out from her? If you do, let me know in the comments because I would love to know. So far, we are just reading 3-star books around here. It is now the 3rd day of this challenge. I don't even know if this is a challenge. I guess it kind of is. Let's call it a challenge. But today's the 3rd day of letting you guys guys choose the books that I read. And on Instagram, of course, I did another poll asking you guys to choose which book I should read today. I did Without Merit by Colleen Hoover and then Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. The majority of you guys chose Love on the Brain by Ali Hazelwood. Ignore my book cover. It somehow got bended. It's really bugging me, but we're just going to ignore that for now, okay? Okay. If you didn't know, Ali Hazelwood actually wrote one of my all-time favorite books, The Love Hypothesis. So I'm actually super excited to read this. It is a enemies to lovers workplace romance type of book, and it follows two main characters, B and what's the guy's name? Levi. B believes that Levi absolutely despises her. In her mind, they're arch enemies, but somehow they end up having to work together on a huge project that could make or break B's entire career. Everything that could go wrong is going wrong, and the only person that's actually standing up for her and being in her corner is Levi, which leaves B a little bit confused. She's like, why are you all of a sudden in my corner? Why are you defending me? I thought we hated each other. This is not how we roll. I feel like with enemies to lovers, it can go either way, because I feel like in enemies to lovers romance books, the stakes are not that high, and it always turns out that the guy has been secretly in love with the female main character, which is not a bad thing, but it doesn't make their, what's the word that I'm looking for? It doesn't make them seem like true enemies in my eyes. So whenever I read enemies to lovers, I'm like, enemies, but not really, because I'm 100% sure the guy will be secretly in love with the female main character. So I don't know, we shall see. I'm going to shut up now because I'm literally just blabbering at this point, and I'm going to start reading. So let's do it. I don't know if this is another pregnancy thing or if it's because TMI, I've been vomiting my life away these past few weeks. But the Gatorade Zero Fruit Punch, I think this is fruit punch. This has become a lifesaver. I try not to drink it all the time because it has a lot of sodium, but it just tastes so good to me. And I'm normally not a Gatorade gal, but for some reason that's all I've been wanting aside from ice cold water. I don't know why I have these random thoughts with you guys, but whatever. Let's start reading Love on the Brain. I'm about 100 pages in. I haven't really provided much updates on this book quite yet, just because it's funny and it's entertaining, but it's giving me Love Hypothesis vibes, but not in a good way. I don't know, it just reminds me so much of the Love Hypothesis, but in a less funny, less romantic, less chemistry type of way. And I don't want to compare the two books at all, and I'm trying my hardest not to, but despite all of that, it's still very much giving me the Love Hypothesis vibes, and I'm not really enjoying that because I already read the Love Hypothesis and I loved it. So I was expecting this book to be completely different from the Love Hypothesis, but it's still the same formula, if you know what I mean. I'm feeling iffy on this book so far. I'm not enjoying this book at all. It's kind of annoying me. The writing is just not doing it for me this time around. I don't know what it is about this book, but actually I do know exactly why I'm not enjoying this book, which I'll share in my final review, but that's it. That's my update. When I tell you that this is one of my most disappointing reads of 2022, I am not joking. I was so excited for this book, and now I'm upset that I wasted my money on it. I did not enjoy this book. Like, the first 150 pages were easy enough to get through. There were actually a lot of funny parts in the beginning of the book, and B was actually still kind of charming. But as the book progressed, I was just, one, bored out of my mind. And then once Levi confessed his feelings to B, there was still so much left in the book that the last 150 pages I was just bored out of my mind. I think I give it a 2 out of 5 stars, which I very rarely give books 2 stars. I just didn't like this book. I don't think the characters had all that much chemistry. Levi reminded me a lot of Adam from the Love Hypothesis, so I actually liked his character somewhat, but B I just found super annoying. The whole thing about getting mad at Levi because he ate the last vegan donut and she assumed that he wasn't vegan was just so stupid to me as a fellow vegan. Like, I would never get mad at another person for eating a vegan donut. Even if they weren't vegan and they ate the vegan donut, like, I'm not gonna get upset over that. If you read the book, then you know what I mean. But there were certain situations in this book that B was just being so dramatic, and I was just like, girl, can you shut up? Like, stop. Please stop. I never feel right bashing on books. It just makes me feel super uncomfortable. But I, of course, have to be honest with you guys and share my thoughts. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I give it 2 out of 5 stars. I probably would never recommend it. I'll probably will forget about this book within the next few days. And yeah, those are my thoughts on Love on the Brain. I feel like this wasn't that great of a reading vlog because I didn't love the books that I read. I gave them mainly 3 and 2-star ratings, which is not that great. But The Guest List and My Killer Vacation were actually not that bad, and I did enjoy reading those 2 books. It was just certain things within the plot that I didn't really like. Other than that, I still had a lot of fun letting you guys choose the books that I read this week, and I for sure would do this again. If you guys want me to do any other type of reading challenge, just let me know in the comments below and I'll do my best to film it. But that's pretty much it for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I would love to have you a part of my little community here on YouTube, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.